Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Chris. The podcast in which I share my life with you, as well as answer any comments or questions that you might have. I'll also cover topics that you introduce that you think would be interesting. And the first thing I have to share with you today is that I messed that intro up entirely. I got thrown off because these are the first words I've said today. Not even kidding. I've been awake for 40 minutes and this is the first time I've opened my mouth. I've had no reason to before now. And so I was surprised by the sound of my voice because it didn't sound quite like I'm used to. Probably a result of, having not really had anything to drink since I woke up and all that. Yeah, anyway, that intro got messed up. This time, I swear, I was actually planning on doing a particular thing for the intro, but I didn't want to write it down. And so I was like, in my head, I was thinking, okay, so where else would I think, right? You know what I mean? There was this voice in my head telling me that you've got this, you can do this, just say this, and that, and then we'll be done with it. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that again tomorrow then. Because, once again, I don't cut these, I don't edit these, so all of the mistakes, including when I make them right at the beginning, which is just extra embarrassing, they're gonna have to stay in. And that's fine, because if anything, it gives me something to talk about, and it might also give you guys something to talk about. I mean, you can point it out in the comments how I'm still nervous after all this time, or whatever you want to. It's really all up to you. Though, yeah, it really does give me something to talk about because especially on days like today where, honestly, I'm so tired. I've gotten an entire 7 hours of sleep, though. I'm just tired. Sometimes you have those days, right? But yeah, especially on days like these, it gives me something to talk about because I don't actually have anything to talk about today. I'm making this episode for the sake of making the episode because... well, it's a habit at this point, and also it's a necessity. Because if I stopping, right, then I'm gonna end up not making them, even though I have something to talk about, but just because I don't feel like it. And there's no such thing. I can't allow that kind of sensation to ruin another thing for me. So instead, I'll talk a little bit about everything today. I'm currently charging an old laptop that I found because I'm thinking of trying to breathe life back into it by installing Linux on it. I don't know if it'll even work because it's a very old laptop and it hasn't even been turned on for a couple of years. I don't know if it still turns on. But it's gonna be a little fun to sit around doing that, though it's not the main focus of the day. The main focus of the day really is to start coding my website. Because I do have everything already set up. I just kind of need to type it in. I know what my website is going to look like because, well, we planned it out. That was part of the assignment. Though I'm still a little bitter that I was criticized for being one of only 2 people who did the assignment right. That bothered me. Like when we are told to make a wireframe, don't make a mock-up. Your boss doesn't want a mock-up. They wanted a wireframe. And I know I messed up the tenses and the conjugations and all that. You see how tired I am today? It really is just one of those days. And the worst part is that today is actually one of those days where I really need to work. I need to do a lot of work. But it's okay. I'm pretty good at programming and, building websites is simple. There's no advanced functionality, no nothing really. So I'll just take everything I have in XD, the program that I use to make the wireframe, which is a high fidelity wireframe. The only thing that's different from this and a mockup is colors and interaction. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna copy it over, so to speak. Not that I'm literally going to copy it over, but I'm going to write it down. gonna have to give it some nice class names and then put it into the HTML, which is also going to be super simple. And yeah, that's just about it, really. I'm going to have to do a few things different, but that's fine too. I don't really mind that. I actually kind of want to do a few things different to what the wireframe looks like. But that's the thing, it's gonna take more than just today. I just need to be ready for tomorrow, and I was actually thinking about trying to be really cool and writing the CSS up front, so that when I get there, all I do is put in the HTML and then add the classes and stuff, so that they basically think of me as a god, because they'll just see me being there drilling away at it. Maybe that would be fun, because I am going to spend the next couple of days teaching my classmates. The idea is that we'll be programming together, but the truth of the matter is that I'll end up teaching them. So yeah, that is what it is. It's gonna be fun, no doubt about it, but it is going to take away a lot of my time. And you know, I still have a lot to do myself. I need to write a couple of blog posts today. And then I need to, well, at least do the CSS. Is what I'm thinking. But yeah. It's good coffee. Sorry. It's, you know, that's where my brain is at. I'm just trying to fill the silence right now. But then again, that's the original point of this podcast. To fill the silence to someone. And sometimes you'll be really tired when talking to people and you'll end up mumbling weird things. Basically what I'm doing right now. We could talk about the fact that I'm thinking about getting a haircut. So, I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I'm actually growing out my hair. I used to be bald for a few years, and I've never really had hair that was longer than perhaps a handful of centimeters at most. I don't even think it's ever been that long, actually. But yeah, at most a couple of inches. And then a few years back, I decided that I was kind of tired of being bald and that I was going to try growing my hair out. I didn't originally plan on growing it super long, but then I realized that I had curls, like really nice curls, and I decided to just kind of let it grow. I've had a couple of haircuts since then, not enough haircuts, and I haven't been the best at taking care of my hair for the past few years. After my ex left, I kind of stopped doing it as much and all that. But even now, at this point, it's reached a length where when it's wet, it is down to maybe the middle of my shoulders. And when it's dry, it hangs right above my shoulders. Well, that depends on how much I've done to it, because if I've actually used like oil and leave-in conditioner and curl gel and such, then it sits higher. It sits above the shoulder. But nonetheless, my hair is very thick and very curly. To the point where the other day, I found out that at the back of my head, I showered a few days prior, and I was sure that my hair was dry. I let it air dry. But then I decided, okay, this one time I was going to dry brush. And it turns out that I still had like wet hair underneath. And it's just too thick. I have too much hair. And I know that that's an unusual complaint for a male. We usually have too little. But mine, it's just, I have too much, you know? So I want to go to the hairdresser and tell them, I like having long hair, but it's too thick It's too much. What can you do about it? And I'm imagining that I'll be getting some kind of undercut. Maybe an undercut or behind and then a side cut or some shit like that. I'm not sure yet. It all depends on what the person there says, the hairdresser. But I am going to tell them that I might be moving to a much warmer country. And I need to be able to live there without wanting to shave my head again. And so, hopefully that'll help a bit. And that'll make it more maintainable. Because if it was more maintainable, it wouldn't be that big a deal. The issue is that it's impossible to maintain. So, yeah, it's probably time that I shave some of it off, but not all of it. I still want some long hair. And that's where the hairdresser comes in. How can you make me pretty? Oh yeah, pretty and comfortable. But yeah, like, it'll itch and I can barely even lift it from my head because it's so thick and filtered. And when I wash it, it's too heavy. So yeah, that's the main issue, is that it's too heavy. If you guys, if anyone in the comments have any suggestions, I have somewhere around type 2C and 3A. A2. Wait. Yeah, 3A and 2C. I think it's the number first. So yeah, I have somewhere in between there. I kind of have a mixture of those. Some of my curls are really thick corkscrew curls, and some of them are just more like long wavy ones. So I'm not entirely sure if I have one or the other, or if maybe it's a whole other one, but I think it's right around there. So if you know what kind of haircuts I could get that would help with all of this, that would be really nice. Please let me know in the comments below. I'm really sorry that today has been so boring, to say the least. It's been really uninteresting, I bet. But at least you learned that I have long hair. If that's something that you enjoy learning. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm sniffling again. It's not good. And right now my nose is itchy, so I feel like I'm gonna sneeze any minute. And if I sneeze now, then it's all over. It's gonna start running. Oh, sorry, I just hit the microphone. Don't worry, only a couple of minutes left, and then we've fulfilled our quota for today. It's actually kind of funny. I never planned on these being so long. It just kind of happened. And now that it did happen, I don't want to have too much variation in the length. I originally planned on these only being at most 10 minutes. Because they were supposed to be short snippets. But then while I was testing it, it turns out that I just kept talking and talking. As is the case with me. And they ended up being 16 to 17 minutes long every single time. Naturally. Not even me doing it or anything. And so I decided when I was gonna start uploading them that I did need to make them about the same length. But maybe that was a mistake. Maybe they should have just been 10 minutes, who knows. Or maybe I should allow for more variation. Again, that's one of those things like I talked about yesterday that I'm gonna think about improvements in the future. Right now, my main focus is myself and getting everything up and running, getting things together. So much to do. Including the haircut that I told you about. Because that's part of taking care of myself. It's part of getting myself ready. And yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna keep this one short, but there's no need to take another minute of your time if I don't have to. Unless you enjoy being here, in which case that's awesome. Don't miss tomorrow's episode. But nonetheless, I think this is my cue to go now that we've passed the 15-minute mark. It has been somewhat enjoyable talking to you. It's always enjoyable. Today was just a tired, nonsensical day. So, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd be really weirded out if this episode was the one that made you subscribe. But cool nonetheless. That just shows me you want more tired content, I guess. Please tell me in the comment that that's not true. Anyway, time to go. I love you guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye now.